You see DSOs taking over everywhere, and you're probably wondering how they do it. The common belief is that they're just better at business, that they have some secret operational genius that we as practitioners just can't compete with. But having seen their model from the inside and out, I can tell you that is not the whole story. Their biggest advantage isn't their operational skill, it's a specific financial trick that they use to get rich. Today I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you their entire playbook, not just the theory, but the real raw mechanics of how the DSO money machine actually works. My unique perspective is that once you understand their game, you can not only compete with them, but you can beat them. Having owned and managed over 15 different dental practices and coached countless others, I've seen exactly where the landmines are hidden and where the opportunities lie. By the end of this video, you will understand the DSO model better than 99% of your peers, and you'll have a clear, actionable strategy to either compete effectively or join them on your own terms. Here's what we'll cover. First, we're going to deconstruct the DSO money machine so that you can see exactly where their real profits come from. Then I'll show you which of their strengths you can and should be stealing for your own private practice. And finally, and this is the most important part, we'll talk about how to exploit their inherent weaknesses, the areas where you as an independent dentist have an unbeatable advantage. But first, let's get right to the core. What is the secret financial trick that powers the entire DSO engine? Most dentists think DSOs win because they're more efficient. And yeah, that's part of it, but it's not the main engine. The real secret is a concept called EBITDA multiple arbitrage. And once you understand it, you'll never look at business side of dentistry the same way again. But before we get to that, we need to quickly define what a DSO really is. And at its simplest, a dental support organization provides all the non-clinical support for a practice, the HR, billing, marketing, and supply chain. Legally, they often operate with a dentist-owned clinical entity, the PC, and a separate management company, the MSO, which is the DSO that collects a hefty management fee. And let's be very clear about this structure. This two-entity setup, it's just a clever trick, a legal loophole designed to get around the fact that in most states, a non-dentist is not allowed to own a dental practice. It's a loophole that frankly states are not in any hurry to close. But the reality is that the management company, the MSO, has all the control. They own the building, the equipment, the patient list, they control the bank accounts. So while they might tell you that you, the dentist, still have complete clinical autonomy, you need to understand who really holds all the power in the relationship. And critically, many of these DSOs are owned by private equity firms, which are designed to grow fast and sell the entire group in 5 to 7 years or less. This is where the financial trick comes in. The DSO's real product isn't dentistry, it's profit. And the entire game is built on arbitrage. And it works like this. You as an independent practice owner might sell your practice for, let's say, 3 to 4 times your annual profit or your EBITDA. A DSO comes in and buys 50 practices, just like yours, each at 3 to 4 times multiple. They bundle all the profit together into one large entity. Now, because of the massive scale of that bundled profit, they can turn around and sell the entire group to a bigger private equity fund for a much higher multiple, say 8 to 12 times the total profit. The entire game, the entire engine that powers this industry is capturing the spread between the low multiple that they paid you and the high multiple they get when they sell the group. That is the engine. Now, that engine is fueled by other powerful levers. They use their scale to negotiate much better insurance reimbursement rates. When they buy a practice, they can often immediately plug it into their higher fee schedule, significantly increasing its revenue from day one and making the practice instantly worth more. Some of the very large groups that accept Medicaid are able to command huge capitation contracts with the states that can float a large number of their practices. They also use financial engineering, often using debt, to acquire practices. And of course, they leverage their size to get massive volume discounts on everything from supplies to lab fees. But the core of the money machine is that multiple arbitrage. So, okay, now you understand their financial model. It's a powerful engine, but that engine is fueled by specific operational strengths that you as an independent can and should be stealing and implementing in your own practice. And the biggest one, their biggest recruiting advantage, is something that you can start implementing tomorrow. This brings us to our next key insight. You can build your own micro DSO by replicating their best systems without sacrificing your autonomy or your culture. The first strength to steal is their obsession with systems and processes. Ask yourself this question honestly. Do you have a written, replicable playbook for every key process in your practice? From the moment the phone rings with a new patient, to the financial conversation, to how you reorder supplies. If you don't have documented systems, you don't really have a business. You just have a job that you happen to own. A DSO can scale because they have a predictable, repeatable engine. You need to build that same engine for your own practice, even if you only ever want to have one location. It's what creates consistency, efficiency, and ultimately freedom for you as the owner. And honestly, this is one of my biggest passions. I've spent years developing and refining these systems, and if building out your own operational playbook is something that feels overwhelming, I've actually put together a comprehensive course that gives you all my templates and checklists. You can check that out on my website if you think that would be helpful for you. But the next key strength is to steal their use of negotiation leverage. A DSO can get better pricing on supplies because they're buying for 100 offices at once. You can't really do that alone, but you can and you should join a purchasing group or a GPO to instantly access all the better pricing. DSOs also relentlessly negotiate their insurance fee schedules. How long has it been since you demanded a fee increase from your biggest PPO providers? You may have more leverage than you think, and you definitely need to use it. And finally, you need to steal their strategy for recruiting power. DSOs are very attractive to young associates because they offer clear career pathways and mentorship. So you can and must do the same. Stop thinking of your associates as temporary employees who are just there to fill a chair and start thinking of them as future partners. Create a clear, written path from associate to junior partner or even full partner in your practice. When you offer a vision for the future, not just a paycheck for today, you'll be able to attract and retain the best talent, which is a huge advantage. So you've deconstructed their money machine and you've started to implement their best systems. Now we get to the most important part of the playbook. You can't outspend a DSO and you can't outscale them, but you can absolutely beat them in the area where they are the most vulnerable. This is our final and most powerful insight: is your unbeatable advantage is trust and culture. Private equity and corporate management are very good at optimizing spreadsheets, but they are terrible at building genuine human connection. This is where you exploit their weaknesses. Their first weakness of the DSO model is the commoditization of care. As they scale, the focus inevitably shifts to standardization, which can lead to a loss of the personal relationships that patients crave. The second weakness is high associate turnover. Many associates in the corporate world burn out quickly due to the production pressure and the lack of any ownership mentality. And this revolving door of doctors further erodes patient trust. The third weakness is the risk of culture drift. When the primary focus is on hitting quarterly profit targets for a distant owner, the clinical culture can drift into ethical gray zones. So this is where you win. A DSO has a corporate culture managed by a regional director that the team barely knows. You have a family culture led by you, the person who is in the trenches with the team every single day. A patient in a large DSO is often just a number on a spreadsheet that needs to hit a production goal. A patient in your practice is Mrs. Jones, whose kids you've watched growing up, who you ask about the recent vacation. And this deep, personal, community-based bond is something that a private equity fund in New York can never replicate. It is your single greatest competitive advantage, and you need to lean into it. So should you compete with DSOs or join them? Well, the answer is pretty clear. You compete by combining the best of both worlds. The goal is to take the systems and efficiency of a DSO and merge it with the unbeatable trust and culture of a great private practice. And when you build documented systems, when you manage your numbers like a CEO, when you create career paths and for your entire team and deliver that unparalleled personal patient experience, you can become unstoppable. You create a practice that is not only highly profitable, but also deeply fulfilling, and a place where patients feel cared for and where your team is proud to work. So take what you learned today about the DSO playbook and start thinking about how you can strengthen your own practices, systems, and culture. Let's keep working together to make dentistry fun, fulfilling, and rewarding. Subscribe so you don't miss the next strategy, and I'll see you soon.